Welcome to part number 1 of navigating CRM implementation pitfalls. And today we are going to talk about part number 1. There will be 11 videos in this series, and today we are going to talk about lack of clear objectives. If you didn't see the introduction for this series, please click on the link above. It will give you some useful information about the research that was conducted in order to produce those videos. Right now we are starting with point number 1, and this is unclear priorities. When starting any project, including a CRM project, there need to be clear objectives. What are you trying to achieve? There might be business objectives or there might be technological objectives. A business objective will be fix my CRM system. It's a business objective. A technological objective will be connect Gmail with my CRM. In any case, there will be some kind of an objective. Once the objective is set, you will need, or you or the company that you are working with will need to come up with priorities. What's more important than other? Based on those, set some timelines and know also how much money you're going to spend along the way. Okay, and that's connecting also to other problems that we're going to discuss later on. But the idea is to have a clear objective of what you are trying to achieve and also how much it's going to cost and how much time it's going to take. There are some cases that you will not be able to know it without some additional work, which means some architecture, and that's perfectly fine. But I wouldn't start any project without clear objectives. We saw many cases during our research of companies that work with development companies. The development companies looked like they did a good job. They didn't fail, but the company didn't set up any priorities or any objectives. So it's like me going from Toronto to New York. That's a 9-hour drive. I can drive 9 hours and reach New York, which means I met the objective. If it's a good or bad objective, it's something else, but I met my objective. There can be also a case that I will drive 18 hours, which means me as a driver, I did more than double of what I'm supposed to do, which means I rock, I'm the best. But it's not true, because I didn't meet the objective, which means if I work double the amount of hours producing a CRM system that is not useful, I suck, basically. So number 1 will be to define the objective. In defining the objective, point number 1 that I'm talking about right now will be setting priorities. What are the priorities of the project? I would see personally, because most of the people on this channel will be small business owners with limited budget and limited time. And most of the time, people come to us with, I need it yesterday, which means it's a now thing. I would say that the first priority is not really setting the CRM based on modules, such as start with leads and then contacts. I would say build the entire system as a very basic system, so the company can start working with it and then build on top of it layer after layer. In most cases, that's probably what I would do. In some cases, we just go with module by module, depending by the company. But the priorities need to be set based on the company's needs. The next point will be about measuring success. Now, if you think about it, if I am just driving without knowing where I'm driving, obviously, when I finish my drive, if there was no expectation of where I'm going to drive to, you cannot measure if my drive was a successful drive or not. With CRM, it's exactly the same. You can have projects, and sometimes clients will come to us and will say, or prospects, and they will say, just drive. That means that they just want us to develop things without any objective. And obviously, it's a no-go for us. We are not taking those projects. Those kind of projects will be, Lior, please set up my CRM. Or Lior, please set up my Zoho desk, or stuff like that. The company knows that they need a CRM. They have no clue what they need. And therefore, I am not taking those projects unless there is a clear architecture and clear understanding of what is my objective and what I am going to do. Taking the money of this company is not my objective. Providing results is my objective. This is why company name is Amazing Business Results and not Mediocre Business Results. The third point will be scope creep. Scope creep is a huge problem in IT projects. The main problem is it's because it's a virtual world. I can see something that you can't. The way that we know and we learned how to fix this problem is that we are showing a mini demo. So when I am talking to you about a lead system, you might understand or you will feel that when a lead comes in, it will be merged automatically with existing leads in the system if they are sharing the same email or the same phone number. As an example, to me as a company, it's not like part of what I'm doing. So to me, it doesn't make sense. So when I will deliver to you the system, you will say, Lior, the system sucks. It's not merging automatically. And there is no integration with Facebook messages. When a Facebook message comes in, a message is not created automatically. And I would say, but it's not part of the specification documents, not what we discussed. So then I will say I need to have a scope creep. I need basically to have more things done, and I will charge you more for that, and you will be unhappy. The best way that I found, and we spend insane amount of money in order to do that. Almost everything that we are selling can be demonstrated to the client before we're even selling it. It won't be identical to what you need, obviously, but you will see what you're getting. As an example, when I'm selling you a lead system, I can show you a full lead system and each type of functionality that I'm going to offer you before you're spending $1. Obviously, I don't want your money if I'm not able to show you what you're going to get. And that's a big thing of scope creep. We are able to almost eliminate completely scope creeps because people know what they're getting, not virtually. They can see it. They can play with it before they're even buying the solution. So that's about scope creep. Now, if we are showing a client what we did, and the client says, you know what, I want more things, we will usually put it as phase 2. So first of all, let's finish what we've been contracted to do for you. And only then we are going to talk about the new things, and that will be phase 2. The reason is that if you are adding scope creeps in the original project, it will be a never-ending project. It will run forever, and you will say, Lior, you suck. Again, obviously, because the project's supposed to be 2 months and now it's already a year. And I would say, but you're adding scope creep all the time. You're adding more things along the way. But the client usually don't care. So we finish what we've been contracted to do on time, on budget, provide training, everybody knows what to do, and then we go to the next item or the next phase. The next point is user adoption issues. In order to explain this point, because user issues are basically the bottom line. If the user cannot use the system sucks. So it's always about the user. But this point is really about not having clear objectives. And I will give it to you from the recruiting side, which also that's a huge problem for business owners. A business owner will post an advertisement looking for an administrative assistant, and I see it all the time. They will go to a different advertisement of a different company. They will copy what the other company is looking for because they don't have time to do that. They will give it to the recruiter. The recruiter will produce some people. They will interview. It looks okay. They will hire the person. And when the first quarter is over and they are doing the quarterly review, they will say, the admin assistants suck, we need to fire, we need to bring someone else. The main reason behind it is not because the administrative assistants suck. that's usually not the case. The case is that the company don't have clear objectives, and therefore they cannot see if the executive assistant is doing her job properly or not. The right way to do it is to have, for example, list of requirements and objectives that the admin assistant is supposed to do, and then in the quarterly review to measure if what you wanted in the first place is actually being done by the executive assistant. In the user adoption area, if there are no clear objectives of what the CRM is supposed to do, the user who's supposed to use the system will not have the right training of what to use. And therefore, the user cannot use the system because there is nothing to measure about. If you have, let's go to the car example, you will have a car and the car is supposed to have someone driving in it. There need to be clear instructions of how to drive the car. But if you don't know how the car operates, you cannot train the user of how to use it. And therefore, companies are blaming their employees that they are not using the system properly. When we are talking to those employees, they have no clue how the system even functions or what was done, and why we need 50 steps to produce just one thing, which obviously it's a big problem. User adoption issues are directly related to not having clear objectives. The next point will be ineffective customizations. We see it all the time. Companies' owners and managers will show us their beautiful system that they created. We will talk to them about why a specific certain section was created, and they will have no clue why. So they spent $20,000, $30,000 into a beautiful, seriously, it's awesome, a great piece of functionality when no one needs to use it. There is no existence for this customization from the first place. And that's also leading to having no clear objectives. So they will go, let's say, to a developer, and they're saying, we want a great sales system. The developer, from his experience, and again, it's not a developer problem. The developer from his side will say, you know what? I did actually a great proposal system to John. Let's do that. Do you need a proposal system? The business owner will say, I guess. Yeah, I guess. So the developer is creating a beautiful proposal system. The bottom line is the company is just selling hardware. They can click on a button and produce a Zoho Books estimate, will do exactly the same thing without spending $30,000 and wait 3 months, while the functionality is awesome, but it's completely useless. So knowing what you want to have in the system is critical so you won't lose money on customization and automation that's not supposed to be there in the first place. We also see that also with automation a lot, that companies are producing automations not because they need to, it because they were advised that they need to have them. As an example, if I'm producing a proposal, every week I will have 2 proposals, and that will take me about 5 minutes per proposal. It doesn't make sense to spend $10,000 on a proposal system that will save me those 10 minutes a week. Money-wise, there is no return of investment, and it's just BS, basically. So clear objectives will also define what needs to be done and what type of customization needs to be done. And hopefully the developer that you're working with will be honest to tell you what type of automation makes sense or not, based on questions that he will ask you that are related to the usage and if it makes sense or not. The last item that I want to show you is the SMART. SMART is a way for you to create those objectives, and obviously you can Google it by yourself. I also included in my book the SMART section that will show you the general direction of how to use it. We are not using SMART personally in the company, but I think it is a useful way to work with your objectives and how to produce them in a clear way. It's very common with lots of companies, So I think that if you want to take action on this video, go smart. It's an interesting direction that will help you create a framework of how to produce those objectives. That was video number 1. Thank you, first of all, for watching all the way to the end. And I'm going to release video number 2 very soon. If it was already released by the time that you are watching this video, there will be a link on the top with video number 2. Video number 2 will deal only with poor user adoption, which is a big point. Thank you very much for watching. Thumbs up if you like the video, description for comments. Thank you very much. We'll see you in the next session.